Step right up, it's the show you adore. It's 1F Jeff, episode 24. Deep chats, big laughs, and we're glad you're here. Cause Cousin Mia's in the spotlight this year. She's a freshman star with the sax in hand. On the wrestling mat, she takes a stand. Just don't you loud or she'll give you a glare. But Phantom of the Opera, she'll take you there. He's got zany vibes and flair to spare. It's 1F Jeff, where the convo goes there. So ring that bell and open the door. It's 1F Jeff, episode 24.
This is episode 24 of 1F Jeff.
The number 24 has always carried a sense of completeness. Time itself revolves around it, 24 hours in a day, a system that began with the Egyptians dividing daylight and darkness into two sets of 12. In numerology, its digits add to 6, a number ruled by Venus and tied to love, harmony, and domestic balance. That makes 24 the caretaker number, dependable, protective, and devoted to maintaining connection and stability.
My cousins and I were really close when we were growing up. We all lived in the Cleveland area, and we were all pretty close in age. So we'd celebrate all our birthdays and holidays together. We'd go on vacations together. We'd have these amazing sleepovers at our grandmother's house. It was pretty magical, to be honest. And I remember growing up and finding out that most people didn't have such a close relationship with their cousins. And I realized that it was special, this connection we'd forged as kids. Now we're all in our 40s and 50s, and we've dispersed to different parts of the country. And some of us have husbands and wives and kids and jobs, and it's not as easy to see each other and stay in touch. But the connection I feel and the love I have for this group of people is still there. It'll always be there. When we were in our 20s and early 30s, my cousin started a contest, a betting pool, if you will, about who would be the first of us to reproduce. It was funny at the time, and it still is funny, frankly, because none of us seemed anywhere close to having kids, in spite of the fact that we were all in the relative age range of when people start to reproduce, and also because we were betting on this. I'm not sure our parents found it quite as funny as we did, but that was often the case. One Christmas, we took an empty vodka bottle and filled it with water and then closed it back up and wrapped it up as a gift for my cousin Sarah, who was, I think, 18 at the time, maybe 17. And we gave it to her in front of everybody, and she opened it up. We told her beforehand. And she opened it up, and she says, "Oh boy, I love vodka." And she just starts chugging it in front of everybody. And the look on our parents' faces, I mean, it was... I'll never forget the look. I'll never forget it. Anyway, the first cousin baby was born in June of 2010 to my cousin Mike. My sister had hers in August of that year, and then my cousin Brian had his first a year later in 2011. Our youngest cousin Rachel won the pool, which was about $1,000, I think. Which brings me to my guest today, who is my cousin Brian's firstborn child, Mia, who is now 14 years old and a freshman in high school, which is wild. Mia was actually one of the first people that I booked for this podcast. I was at a minor league baseball game with her and her family, and I was telling her about this podcast I was planning to start. And she was like, "Can I come on? Can I come on?" And I was like, "Of course." And so last Saturday, we made it happen. I really enjoy talking to young people. Maybe I'm just trying to maintain my relevance in this increasingly confusing world of ours. But I enjoy hearing their perspective about all the things. So this conversation with Mia is no exception. And I hope you'll enjoy listening to it as much as I enjoyed having it. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Here is my first cousin, once removed, Mia. Do you remember when we first met?
could not tell you.
No, nor do I. I think you were drooling a lot at that age. You were a big drooler.
That's a little embarrassing.
Well, it's all right. You're a baby. You and Matt both drooled. I don't know which one was the bigger drooler.
I hope it's Matt.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out. I'll ask your parents.
Oh, okay.
So tell me about Mia.
Okay, sure. I'm 14. I'll be 15 next year. I feel like that's kind of a no-brainer.
Sure, I did the math. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm in high school. I am a freshman. Let me see. Right now it's wrestling season, so that's like the sport I'm in. Yeah, I have a nice friend group. I have nice friends. I hang out with them when I'm not doing a sport or homework, really.
What kind of sports are you playing?
Well, right now I'm in wrestling season, so I'm wrestling.
Oh, that's right.
And in the fall, I did golf. And these are all new sports to me. Like, I've never played them before.
Right.
But it's interesting. It's new. And it's mainly like the people
Yeah.
that I do it for.
Yeah.
But it's also interesting to try something new and also meet new people.
Sure. Do you like wrestling?
I mean, yeah. We'll see if I do it next year, but it's fun this year, and I'm kind of stuck with it, so I'm going to try it.
Wrestling. I never would have thought of wrestling. I never really wanted to wrestle when I was a kid.
You know, me neither. But then my best friend's older sister comes up to me, and she's asked me about it, and she talked to me about it for a while, and so did my friend. And then I convinced my other best friend to join. So my two best friends did it with one of their older siblings.
Right. So there was a first person who wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And that person got everybody else wanting to do it as well.
Yeah, it was like a chain reaction.
Right. Do you feel like you're good at it?
Oh. That's
How many matches have you had?
3.
3. And how have you done? All right. Just giving me a blank stare right there.
We'll avoid that one.
Right, we'll avoid that one. And the golf thing hasn't started yet?
No, that was in the fall.
How'd that go?
Also not bad, but I was like learning, you
Okay.
know? But that was fun. I got to drive a golf cart.
Right, and your
So-
dad likes to golf too, so that's fun.
Yeah.
He's
I'm not going to golf with him.
Right. Probably not a good idea.
No, probably not.
Yeah. He's not a big wrestler either, too, so I don't think he
No,
wanted to
he
wrestle.
said he did.
Did he really?
Yes. I asked him one day, and he was like, yeah, I did. I was good. And I had no idea. I was very surprised.
Huh. I had no idea either.
Yeah.
I can't really picture your dad wrestling, but
Me neither.
Yeah.
No.
you learn new things every day, don't you?
I guess you knew.
Yeah. So what's it like being a teenager in 2025?
It's pretty cool. You know, like, it's also interesting because we have like the internet and phones and like that kind of thing. So it's interesting to see like other people and like, you know,
The
like
social
at the same
media,
time.
yeah. How do you feel about the social media?
I enjoy it. I don't like post anything,
Okay.
but like it's interesting to like see other stuff and like,
Which ones are you on?
like TikTok and Instagram.
Which
You
one
know.
do you use more?
TikTok.
Yeah. That's the one that's super addictive. That's like, yeah.
Yeah, it pulls you in.
Yeah, that's the one that I can't have on my phone because it's too much.
Yeah.
Although I did start a TikTok account for this podcast, and I'm not sure what to do with it. I feel like I should do dancing or something, but that would be confusing.
I think you should try to
some
dance.
numbers.
Oh
Yeah.
no, we'll find Matt. He likes the choreography.
Oh,
for
right. I
display.
could have, and then they'd go to the podcast though. They'd see, you and Matt dancing, and maybe me as well.
I think that's good.
But then they'd go to the podcast and they'd be like, "This is nothing like what I saw on TikTok."
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
But it's just pulling them in. That's all you really want. So once you've got them, yeah.
You got him hooked. Like
Yeah.
I feel like the dancing. That's
Right.
really,
All right. Well, we'll talk to Matt about that. See if he can do some choreography for us. I didn't realize your brother was also a choreographer.
Oh no, he's quite the dancer.
Oh, is he really? I didn't know that.
I mean, according to himself.
Of course. But you're vouching for him here.
I mean, I kind of have to.
Right.
You know.
He's gonna listen to this and be like, "I am a good choreographer. I heard you, Mia."
Yeah. It's
Do you feel that social media is like? I mean, there's bad things about it,
For sure.
right? Right. And how is that in high school? Like, I can't imagine. We didn't have phones, of course, when I was in high school or anything. So I can't imagine this how like social life works when you have all the social media all the time.
It is interesting. And I think for me, I do so many other things that there's enough time where I'm not on social media.
Right.
And like it's just regulated because of all the other activities I do and like
Right.
the time I don't have to spend on social media. But it definitely does affect our my generation and like, you know, it's like I know a lot of my friends don't have social media, which I fully understand because, you know,
Right.
their parents
Right.
which, like I can see both ways. And like I think that's kind of where I stand. Like I don't post anything because I'm like I don't want myself to be
Right.
affected by like what other people
Right.
think of me.
Yeah. Do you feel like, I mean, have you experienced any or known anybody who's been affected negatively by like social media stuff?
Not that I can think of any of my friends.
That's good.
Like any of my close friends, because they just like, again, none of my friends, we just don't.
Right.
I mean, we'll watch, but like we don't.
You don't engage.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know that the people who invented these products, like who invented Instagram and all these TikTok, they don't let their children use them. Which
I mean, that
says-
makes complete sense.
Right. It says a lot about how nefarious they are. And what was it like? You've been in high school, what, for about 3-4 months now?
Like 3, 2.
How has that been? It's a big change.
It's nice. I mean, I definitely miss things about middle school that like really just like the people, and also honestly the building was kind of nicer. Like I
Right,
liked the
right.
building. The one thing I've noticed about high school is that like grades don't really separate. Like the whole school's kind of just together.
Yeah.
Like I'm really close with some of the seniors, but I'm also close with some of the freshmen, and like other grades. They all kind of mix together, which I think is interesting. And like I also have classes with juniors and seniors and
Oh, that's
sophomores.
interesting. They didn't have that. That was not the case when I was in high school. We were all with the same. What classes do you have with upperclassmen?
Well, like bands,
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
and then Algebra 2 and Spanish 3.
Okay. Yeah. I guess choir and band I had with other, with older kids. Yeah.
But I like that more. And like in middle school, I mean, we still had that, but you never had classes with any of them.
Right.
So it's hard to see them throughout the day.
Right. Is it different or the same as you expected? Like when you went in, did you have expectations about it?
I didn't really know like what to expect. Like I didn't have like a preset thought of like what high school would be. I mean, I saw this stuff in movies, but like
It's not.
That's
Yeah.
I never really expected that to be the same.
Right. So has it been better or worse?
I think better.
Better.
I think one expectation I had was more classes, like more homework.
Sure.
But that's not really how it's been. Like honestly,
interesting.
I haven't had much.
Oh.
Like I could be wrong. Maybe it's coming, but like
Huh. That's
I just-
interesting.
the teachers are like more chill. Honestly,
Weird.
so
Huh. I don't know if your parents are going to want to hear that, but
they
you know,
probably won't.
It's probably the
but,
truth.
I mean, they know. I don't do any homework at home. I just don't have any. I just do it at school.
I mean, there's mixed feelings about homework these days in the sense that, like, you're at school all day, and then should you really be going home and then doing school again? I mean, it seems a little bit. I feel like there should be a little homework, but to a degree that I had it when I was in high school, we had a lot of homework.
Yeah.
And I hated doing it.
I don't like it either. The only homework I can understand is if you didn't finish it in class, and it's just something that's like
Right. Or like a project.
carries over. Yeah, or like a project.
Right.
But like they're like, hey, I need you to do this outside of school. Like
Yeah.
I really don't understand that, especially since I know people who have like jobs and sports and like have other things going on in their lives, and
Right.
they just don't have time. So
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah. Are you a good student?
I mean, yeah. Like,
You're getting good grades then?
yeah, if
Yeah,
I
yeah.
got anything below an A, I think I'd cry.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's-
you're that good of a student. That's great.
Yeah.
That's good to know. That's good to know. What's your favorite subject?
Oh, that's true. Honestly, for me, it changes, like depending on the teacher.
Okay, that makes sense.
But honestly, right now, one of my favorite classes is probably Spanish 3.
Oh,
It's
okay.
right before lunch, which
Bueno.
is
Yeah.
yeah.
Un poco.
Sorry.
Un poco.
Sorry, I wasn't expecting that. And like just like I have friends in that class, and the teacher's nice. So
And are you learning Spanish?
yeah, well, yeah, I guess so.
You're getting
That-
pretty good at it. I'm trying to learn Spanish, and it's not going well. I have labels all over the house, as you'll see, of things that I've labeled. Not in this room, but in
I
other
was
rooms.
looking
Well,
around.
Behind you, there's a poster that I got in Colombia.
That's
what does
cool.
it say? I also...
Live the life.
Yeah.
I also live the life.
Good job. Good
Thank
job.
you.
Good job. A. You get an A.
I do get an A.
Yeah. Well, la-di-da.
Thank you.
So what's something that you feel like adults don't understand about what it's like to be a teenager right now?
I think they just forget. Honestly, okay, I could be wrong about this, but I feel like teenagers have heightened emotions, and like, generally that's just kind of how it is. And I think they kind of forget that, and then it's like you know, I might care a lot about something, but they don't really understand that.
Right.
And it's like, it'll seem like the smallest little thing and like it doesn't make sense to them. But to me, I mean, this is my whole world. Like, I
Sure.
don't know anything else besides what,
Right. High
I
school
know.
and so forth. Yeah.
So like that's what matters most to me right now. And I think, no offense to my parents, I'm not calling them old, but like they haven't been in high school for a nice chunk of time. So they don't know.
A nice chunk of time. That's a great way of putting it. I haven't been in high school in a larger, nice chunk of time than your parents, but not that much.
You still got time, don't worry.
No, I don't want to go back to high school. High
That's
school is
fair.
interesting, Mia, because it's like the only time in your life that you will be around the same group of people, your class,
yeah.
for all the time. Like you're just kind of, and it's really interesting once you get out and looking back because you're like, oh, I didn't really appreciate that when I was in it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good and bad because, you know, you don't like everybody. How many people are in your class?
200 something.
200, 300? Yeah.
Probably
Yeah.
something around
Yeah.
there. But yeah, it's interesting. It's some of the people I enjoy, some other people
Mm-hmm. Sure.
not so
Sure.
much.
Sure, you find your people, you pick and choose.
Yeah.
But then you'll get to go to high school reunions in like 10 years after you graduate in 20 years, and you'll see how these people have grown up, and that's the interesting part.
That will be interesting.
Yeah.
I will be there. I will like
Yeah.
to see that.
You'll find a lot of like the jocks, because I was not athletic in high school at all. I was a theater nerd and show choir as well. And a lot of the jocks, like the football jocks, had become fat and bald, which gave me pleasure.
Yeah. I
And
can
that most
see
of them had
that.
been through a divorce as well, which also gave me pleasure. But
That will be interesting to see what relationship lasts.
it really is
what
interesting,
don't.
yeah. Because there were a few that people who met in high school were still married. There
Yeah,
were not very
but-
many, but a few.
Yeah.
And a surprising amount of people who hadn't left the town, like
Really?
Westlake. No, most of them had not. They still lived in the area, which I
Wow.
found surprising. Yeah.
That does surprise me.
Yeah. What do you think? Do you think you're going to leave Columbus at some point? Or what do you think?
I don't know. I like Linville.
Mm-hmm.
But like I also do want to see the world because like
Sure.
for me, there's not really a point in staying in one place the whole time. That just seems like a waste of my time.
Totally. It's a big old world out there.
Exactly. So I would definitely like to see other parts of the world, but I don't know where, if I'll, come back to Columbus
Sure,
and live
sure.
here, or
Yeah.
if I'll move elsewhere.
Yeah. 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 I mean, I went and lived all over and then came back to Ohio.
Right now, I'm kind of just thinking about my test next week. Like,
What's the test in?
it's in band.
Oh, you have a test in band.
Yeah.
I don't think we had those. You have to like play a piece basically,
Yeah.
and that's marching band.
No, marching band's over. It's
Oh, right, football.
concert band. It's like seating placement.
Oh, all right. Then what do you play?
I play alto saxophone.
Oh, all right. Why'd you choose the alto sax?
Not really sure, but it's kind of coming back to bite me now.
Why is that? Because you're not very good at it, or you don't
No,
like it?
it's because it's heavy.
Ah,
like the case is
It's
big.
a big, yeah. Well, hindsight,
Yeah.
yeah.
Really kind of should have thought that one.
But you like
through.
playing it?
I mean, yeah, it's fun.
All right. I never could play. I played I could play cornet, like it's a small trumpet, and then I played
yeah.
a valve trombone in marching band, which I really didn't care for. But I never learned how to play like the reeded instruments. I could,
The reed.
yeah, I could play all the other instruments pretty much, pianos and all that kind of thing, but never any reeded things.
Yeah.
I never tried, so maybe I should try sometime.
Now think about it. I chose this in 5th grade. I don't really remember why I chose it.
Sure.
like,
Right.
could not tell you, but I mean, I like it. Like I feel like playing a brass instrument. I wouldn't like that. Like on your lips, like that sounds.
Yeah, you got to buzz your lips.
I know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. It doesn't sound too.
Yeah, when
too
I
nice.
got braces, I couldn't really do it as well because it makes it very hard to go.
I know. I've been through a few rounds of braces, and I had like in middle school I had this friend, and she was another alto saxophone, and we'd sit together. And, we both like were going through braces, and we'd be like, "Sorry, I just got my braces tight, and I can't play today." It's like,
You got to take up my slack.
yeah. I mean, I probably could have, but
I've never been, and this is no offense, I've never been a fan of the sound of saxophones.
that's fair. I think you just have to play a specific piece. Like, I feel like saxophones, they can't play everything, but if you give them the right music,
Sure.
it can sound really pretty.
Absolutely. There's definitely like, your John Coltrane and so forth. But like,
Yeah.
given the choice, I'd go with like brass. Like when I went to New Orleans and like the brass bands everywhere, that really it like gets me.
Yeah, I understand
Yeah.
that. And I
like
think
loud brass music, like the marching band, the Ohio State band.
And I think saxophones, this could be me, because I play it, but like, I feel like they're kind of just like this left out instrument because they don't fit into a concert band. Like they're never part of like a symphony orchestra or anything.
Oh, right.
I mean, they're a jazzy instrument.
Yeah.
Like you think of that when you think of jazz, but it's not like, you know, there'll be all brass bands, but you don't have a saxophone in an all brass band.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, it's like a jazz instrument, but
It's a jazz
and they're
instrument,
trying to
but-
kind of fit it in somewhere in high school bands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like I always do feel a little
Right.
left out because like we're with the woodwinds, but the woodwinds they're an odd group. Like with the whole flute,
Right.
clarinet.
Oh, don't get me started on the oboe. I mean, that's yeah.
Well, actually, I can't say much bad stuff about that. One of my best friends plays the oboe.
Oh, you know an oboe player?
I do know an
Oh,
oboe player.
well, I mean, no offense to her, of course. I
Yeah.
find that in general, your friend accepted. The oboe community is a strange one.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Like some woodwinds are. I feel bad, but I feel like the stereotypes do fit a lot of the instrument.
Well, it's a
instrumental
strange word
groups.
too. Oboe.
Oboe.
Oboe. I mean, if you say, you know how when you say a word over and over again, it
Yeah.
loses its meaning, and you're like, what are we even saying anymore? Oboe is
Yeah.
one of those.
I see that.
Who
I see
thought of that? Like saxophone, that's a legit word, but oboe,
I mean, generally with instruments, they're named after the person who made them.
like
so,
Bob Oboe,
Yeah, that's probably who it was. Probably Robert, but yeah.
right? Robbie Oboe.
Yeah, there's Robbie
I'll
Oboe.
have to look that up after the show.
But
Um,
oboists, I feel like they're always really good at their instrument.
Oh, for
I've
sure.
never met a bad oboist.
no, if you're gonna choose the oboe, you're gonna commit to the oboe. You really
Yeah.
have to want to play the oboe.
And I mean, my friend, she's a great oboist.
I'm sure she is.
Like,
Yeah, yeah.
she's really good.
Yeah, and that can be beautiful depending on the piece as
sure.
well. I can imagine it'd be hard to listen to somebody practicing that if they're not very
Oh,
good, though.
trust me.
A lot of squeaking. Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Yeah. Huh. Band. Yeah, I was in marching band for 1 year and I didn't care
You
for it
were?
at all. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
in the freshman year and I just didn't care for it, so I switched to show choir.
Yeah.
Singing and dancing was more my game.
Yeah, I mean, it does take away a lot of Friday nights, which is
Right.
not great. But I do like being there. Like, it's a fun time. And especially all the people are, you know, nice and funny. So,
Sure, and you have to go to all the football games.
yeah.
Right.
Well, our football team kind of sucks. So,
oh, well, you know, but you're the highlight then.
yeah. No,
yeah.
we are.
Yeah.
It's the funny part, but
We had to do like a whole summer thing too. It was like weeks and weeks of practice in the
band-
summer.
band
Band
camp?
camp, yeah.
Band
Yeah. What are your friends like?
my friends,
Yeah.
well,
You said you
They're
had like
all-
a good social group.
I do. They're all a little different. I have some friends who are like really into theater, and like that's their thing, and like I am too. But like I dabble in a little bit of everything.
I am a dabbler as well.
And I have two friends that I can think of. They're crazy good at sports. Like they are just that's their thing. Like that's. I mean, they do other stuff, but like they're really good at sports. And you know, my oboe friend, she's really good at the oboe. Like that's her main thing.
Yep.
But she's also one of my wrestling friends. So
Oboe and wrestling, interesting combo.
and golf.
And golf.
We play a lot of the same sports.
Oh, well, that's fun. That's fun.
Yeah.
What do you think you're the best at?
That's a hard question for me because I think personally I'm just kind of okay at everything. I just do so many things that I can't really be great at one thing because I just focus on too many things at once.
Right, you're not committing.
No.
Yeah.
Which is that probably tells you something about me, but like
Sure. I'm kind of the same way. I relate to that.
yeah. So it's like I don't think there's any one thing that I'm just great at, but I'm just okay at a lot of things. And I think that's kind of what I've accepted and that's just
Sure.
what I do.
It's a good realization to have at your age. And high school is a great place to like, you know, try to do all the things because it's one of the
Yeah.
like you won't have a chance to be in like a marching band when you're an adult or
I know.
like, you know, all
It's-
these things. And it's crazy because you don't think about that. But then you get in the older age and you're like, you know, I found a choir here. But like in general, people don't go into
Yeah.
choirs, as you know. So yeah, do all the things while you can. I'm
I know
down.
that's kind of my mindset.
It's a good philosophy.
It's really I've done everything.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I mean, you're wrestling for crying out loud, which is never a thing I'd imagine you doing. So
no, it's not.
yeah. And what do you have like a plan? What do you want to, any ideas of what you want to do after this high school scenario?
I know I want to go to college. Like I
Sure.
know that's definitely one thing I want to do. I'm not quite sure what I'd want to major in. There's like a lot of different things that I would, you know,
Let's hear.
that I've thought about
Like
it.
what?
I guess film. That'd be interesting to see. Like
that'd
not on the acting side, but like behind the scenes.
Production?
That's more,
Yeah.
yeah, my
I
thing.
can give you some background on how that life will be.
And then I thought about engineering a lot, and specifically aerospace engineering. That's what sounds the most like. I think that's the front runner in my head right
Oh,
now.
wow.
Like that's my best subject is probably math and like the science. sciences and stuff in school, so I think that would fit me well. I've also thought about like forensic science and stuff.
Interesting. Like crime
Yeah,
stuff? Oh.
crime.
Do you listen to crime podcasts?
I do. I do dabble.
It's weird. Women generally listen to those more than men. Like that's a very
Yeah.
the audience for female listening to it, and it's just and like who knows why that is. It's interesting though.
And more men commit the crime, so
Right. What do you think is the appeal to you of listening to true crime?
I always just find it fascinating, like on how such terrible people can do such terrible things. But,
Sure.
like I don't know, it's interesting to go into like the psychology part of it and like understand why they would do that, and like
Right.
it's crazy.
Right. I often wonder if some people are just like born bad.
I know, like
know?
that's a question I've heard a lot of people ask. It's like, do people change, or is it, is it affected by other things, or
Right.
is it just how they are?
And how much about how they were raised had this to do with this, things like
Yeah.
that. But like, it does seem like there's a small number of people who just are bad and even
Yeah.
seem to enjoy being bad.
It's
Like that
it's
they like
interesting.
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they find joy in that. It's definitely interesting to see how people, are and just like what they enjoy. I guess, like
Yeah, for
especially
sure.
certain things.
I watch these my latest little YouTube addiction is these they take these the body cam footage from the
Yeah,
police officers and now they're putting these videos, you've probably seen them, but they're
Yeah.
all over the internet. There's so many of them. And it's like fascinating for some reason to me to watch these like police go to the crime scene in person and see all
Yeah.
I don't know why, but
Yeah.
very strange.
I think my least favorite job would be a crime scene cleanup. Like
Oh,
people,
yeah.
that sounds
No.
terrible.
No, you're hosing down the blood and stuff.
Yeah.
Nobody
No,
wants
no,
to do
thank
that.
you.
No. Somebody though wants that job.
I
It's
know.
like I want to clean up the blood.
That's what makes it interesting on how different people are and like how someone would like that job. That's their dream job.
I would worry about that person a little bit, though.
too.
Like if
Me
I was
too,
a
a little
parent
bit.
and you were like, "I want to clean up the blood after the crimes," you'd be like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
you're
what
like,
have we
"Ooh."
done wrong?"
I know.
Yeah.
It's like they don't even want to commit it. They want to.
No, they don't even want to research it. They don't want anything. They just want to clean up the mess. Which,
Yeah.
oof, yeah, no. So where do you see yourself? Let's say, 10 years down the road,
10 years away. That's a long
24
time.
years old, just out of college.
Right.
Well, maybe not just out, but
That makes sense.
I mean, I was in college for 6 years, but we don't need to talk about that.
What?
I was a bit of a slacker in college, and some of the classes that I couldn't decide what to major in because I thought to major in one thing would be to exclude. Like I'm a dabbler too, so I felt like if I major in political science, say, then I'm going to be a political scientist most likely.
Yeah.
And what if I want to do all these other things, right? What if I want to do films? So I couldn't. I had trouble choosing a major, and then. It's a long story. And then I was having too much fun, and so I just 6 years, yeah. And I'm not a doctor.
No.
No.
In 24 years, or 10 years. Well, I'll probably be broke. I feel like that's
Wow,
probably-
that's a great start.
It is a great start.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to accept that.
I mean, you might not be broke. You can get
I
a job.
I can.
Yeah.
But like even with a job and like all that debt from college,
Yeah.
I've heard.
Yeah, no, I still have student loan debt.
Yeah. See,
Yeah, it's a real, don't get me started. Don't get me started.
don't get you started.
Yeah. No, just don't go to like film school for grad school.
I see.
And also don't go to the most expensive art school in the country as well. I would suggest
Oh,
don't do that either.
don't do that?
Yeah, don't do that. Yeah.
Georges won't be seeing me. I
No,
guess.
no, I would not recommend that. I mean, they give scholarships, but
Yeah. Oh, I would really hope to get a scholarship. That's kind of
Yeah,
that's
get
kind
straight
of
A's.
why
I would see that, yeah.
That's not why I'm doing all that I'm doing in high school, but I think it helps.
No, it
having-
sure helps. Yeah.
having a lot of stuff in.
Yeah, it
good
seems like you'll
grades.
have a very well-rounded college application essay.
For sure. I would like to be well rounded. That's kind
Right.
of the goal.
Oh, that's a good goal
It
to
is a good
have.
goal.
Yeah.
That's what I think. Yeah, so I don't know exactly what I'd be doing, but I think probably something in science.
Okay. Okay, let's say 20 years.
20 years. So I'll be 34.
34 years old.
Oh,
it'll
I'll probably have
it'll
a
be
family by then.
it'll be 2045.
Whoa. Don't say that. Don't say that.
That's crazy to me. I'll be 71.
Oh,
So, will we be married with kids?
probably.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't
You don't know?
I don't know.
No.
I definitely want to travel. And
Yeah.
I do want a family. Like that's
Yeah.
I enjoy kids.
Yeah. I do too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
That's probably
really
why I'm
young
here.
kids, but like, I've always liked talking to younger people. It's
Yeah.
like my jam. Any boys?
No.
No interest in boys?
I mean, not right now.
No. No.
I'm more focused on other things.
Any of your
so.
friends
I mean, yeah,
starting to? Yeah.
yeah. I mean, that started in like middle school. It's getting more serious now, but
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't have a girlfriend. I think I go to like a sophomore or something.
yeah.
Yeah, and she didn't even go to my school. She was from theater stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. You want to have kids though? Yeah.
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 I think everyone's kind of goal is to be rich, so that'd be kind of cool. But
The thing is that money doesn't. It's true what they say. It doesn't give you happiness.
no.
It just gives you like at a certain point some comfort. But really, like, if you want to live your life, it's a balance for me, really. And
Sure.
I've always kind of leaned towards like experience and fun as opposed to accumulating wealth, because
Yeah.
then you don't. What are you gonna do something with the money?
No.
Like if you do get rich, what are you gonna do with that money? So
If
you have
I'm
all the
not
money.
rich-
What if you've got all the money?
If I had all the money, well, I'd want to travel. That's definitely one thing I'd want.
Okay, where
to
are we
do.
gonna go? Where's the first place we're gonna go?
I'd probably go to Europe. That sounds cool.
Europe? Any particular country?
This came up at dinner last night, and Grandpa he just started talking about his like heritage and stuff.
Right.
And I guess he's a half Finnish, but
Right.
no one ever told me that. So, I mean, I guess that'd be interesting to go to Finland, and like he has
Sure.
all the places where his family was from and stuff. So it'd be interesting to go there and like see that.
Oh,
like, the
absolutely.
heritage.
Yeah.
Or Germany.
Yeah.
Also we're German. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Good
yeah.
sausages there.
Oh.
Yeah. If you like
That's-
sausage, sauerkraut, probably not at your age. Sauerkraut's
No,
fun, I
not
think.
not quite here.
You'll like it as you get older.
Maybe Belgium. I heard they have good waffles
Yeah, I'm not sure if
and pretzels.
I think I've been through Belgium, and I don't think that I had a waffle, but I don't know that they have better waffles than any other places. But I don't know. Maybe they
Maybe
do.
they do.
Yeah, and there's only one way to find out, by going
Exactly.
there. Well, or asking the internet, really.
Yeah.
But right.
But the internet can be dodgy.
You don't say. The internet can be dodgy by Mia Bifus. That's a great one.
It's really
That's a great one.
just
What's some?
revolutionary.
Yeah. Is there something that you're excited about in the future?
Well, one thing I'm doing is I'm doing History Day.
Mhm.
It's like this thing where there's a theme every year, and then you can do it by yourself or like with a small group, and you like pick a topic that fits the theme, and you like make this whole big project about it. There's like multiple different entry styles you can do. You can do like an exhibit board, a documentary, a performance. Like there's more. I think there's like 5.
Right.
Anyways, but my friends and I we're gonna do it. I mean, it's required for humanities, but like we're gonna enter in the competition and like
What's the subject?
well, the theme this year is revolution, reaction, reform.
Oh,
And so our plan, it could change,
okay.
but I think we were gonna do like the Code Girls. They were like this group of women during World War II who like were hired to be code breakers. It's really interesting. Like they like couldn't tell their families. It's very secret. They were like teenagers. Like they were young adult
Right.
women.
Right.
So we thought that would be really interesting.
That is
to
really
do. And
interesting,
it's
yeah.
something we're interested in.
Sure.
so.
Like, what would you make? Like a documentary or like a?
We were gonna do an exhibit board.
An exhibit
so it's
board.
like a
Yeah.
trifold.
Yeah, it's a good one because I think it's a thing a lot of people don't know about.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I'd heard something about something like that, but I didn't know that was just a big
Yeah.
thing back then.
Yeah.
Huh.
So we'll see how that goes.
Interesting that it was women too.
Well, because I guess the men were in the war. so
Right.
they couldn't-
That makes sense. Yeah. Women were the first. Side note, but like women, the first people who were the big film editors back in the day when you were actually cutting film were almost all women because they thought it was like knitting, like
Yeah.
sewing. So some of the earliest like big editors were women, which I always thought was
I
interesting.
think that's very interesting.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What's your favorite song right now?
My favorite song. That's a good question. Can we like come back to that? I need to like think about that
All
because
right.
that's
All right.
a
Not
tricky
you don't have to come
question.
up with favorite. You can just be like one of the big ones
A
on your
good song?
playlist. Something on rotate.
okay. Well, this is gonna sound really, really odd. Okay.
I probably won't know the song.
No. Well,
We'll see.
But that one song from Phantom of the Opera is like really stuck in my head.
Which
right
one? I know all of them.
now. The one.
Not the Phantom of the Opera.
That one,
There.
that one.
That's the main one, yeah.
Yes, the main one.
Inside my mind.
Yes. It's like been stuck in my head for a while because it was like went viral. I was like, oh, this is cool.
Oh, it went viral. When did it go
did,
viral?
Like recently.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you know why?
I don't know why,
Huh.
but It's really interesting, and it's like been really stuck in my head.
That's crazy because that musical was huge when I was in high school. Like all the theater kids knew all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's kind of died down.
it has.
Is it still on Broadway?
I don't think so. I think it closed
Yeah.
just last year or the year before. Yeah, it was one of the longest running things. I didn't see it on Broadway. I saw it in Toronto.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
Wait,
have you seen
Toronto?
it?
I mean, I've seen bits and pieces. Like,
Oh, right.
I've never sat down and watched the full thing, but I've seen.
Yeah, it's a spectacle.
Yeah,
you know,
it's
'cause
been
the
on before.
chandelier come and all that kind of things.
Yeah.
But yeah. How do you feel about your parents?
Oh, my parents.
What's your relationship like with your parents?
I enjoy them. They are my favorite people.
Oh, you're just. If you decide, you don't want to talk about it, we don't have to talk
Yeah.
about it. But I'm just.
I mean, I think I have a good relationship with my parents.
yeah, it seems like it. Yeah.
I mean, I value them.
They're
my parents.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
It's hard being parents, I think. I have no idea, of course.
It
but-
seems hard
Yeah.
from what I can tell.
Yeah. And how are things with your brother?
Oh, that thing. Oh,
It's a tricky one.
it's a tricky one.
Yeah.
It's definitely like a love-hate relationship. I think that's how most siblings are.
Yeah,
But
of
it's-
course. Yeah.
He's also at the age where it's like, I feel bad because I'm always mad at him. But it's just like, he's just like at an annoying age right now. He's just annoying.
Yeah, he's
I'm
just really
sorry.
wants attention, and
He
yeah,
does.
and he's got such a big heart, that one.
Yeah, he's very sensitive.
He
and it's
is.
like, that's not a bad thing, but it's just like, it can,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like I'm sensitive, and like I think he's sensitive, so that's saying
Yeah.
quite a bit. Yeah.
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 And it's like, it's nothing bad. He just can be a lot sometimes. And
Yeah.
it's like, I think it'll get better as he gets older, but
Yeah.
he's young right now.
He's a very interesting kid.
He
And I'm
is.
very curious to see what he'll be like in like 10 or 15
Me
years.
too.
I'm
Me
dying
too.
to know.
It's-
like it's so more than almost any of my friends or relatives' kids. He's the one I'm like, I want to know what that kid's doing in
Yeah,
10 or
because
15 years.
he's shy, but he's also very outgoing.
It's
when
true.
He knows people.
He's
Like,
so
when with
complicated.
people he knows.
Yeah, yeah. But you were very emotional and sensitive when you
Yeah.
were like 5 years ago. I remember, like you were like an open raw nerve, but you
Yeah.
really
No,
kind
me
of
too.
yeah.
It's gotten better.
It really has, and it's really been fun to see actually, because I remember when I first moved here, which was now 6-7 years ago.
Oh,
What?
you said 6, 7.
I 6-7. I did say that, but not on purpose. Does
Sorry.
it make me legit? Am I cool now? Yeah.
Yeah.
No cap, bro.
Oh, that's quite
Fire,
that's
fire,
the
no,
perfect words.
fire, no cap.
Oh, yeah. That's
I'm doing it right. Doing it right.
you're just hitting all
Nailing
the
it.
all the marks.
It's like if you didn't see me here, you'd be like, "Oh, is there another teenager here?"
That's exactly what they'll think. Probably like, who's this 18-year-old? Who is this?
Anyway, yeah. So when I moved here, you were having a very difficult time
Yeah.
at the time, and you were very emotional. And I was worried about you. Because whenever I'd see you, you'd be very
Yeah.
either happy or sad, but usually not the happiest.
No.
But yeah, it's been great to see you kind of grow out of that phase.
I think one thing that affected my generation at least a lot was COVID. Like,
For sure.
I mean, you met me like,
right
probably
before
the-
COVID.
yeah.
Well, I met you
Or,
like
like,
when you
that's
were
when
a
you moved.
toddler,
That's
but yeah,
when you
I moved like 2018. Yeah.
yeah. So like, I was, COVID definitely affected me a lot, and just like
Yeah.
not being by anybody, I
Yeah.
didn't know like what was like socially. I just didn't know. I didn't learn because like that was kind of like 3rd and 4th grade for me, like a little bit of 5th too.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
That was all like COVID. So like I saw nobody. I saw my neighbors, and
Right.
that was it.
Right, and you saw your aunt and uncle.
Yeah, and just like family. Like I would see
Family, yeah.
family, and then like my neighbors. Like there were like 2 neighbors that was the only people I would see. And
Yeah.
then family.
Yeah.
So that was like, that took a while to grow out of for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, I can't imagine actually, but did you learn a lot during those periods when you were working
No.
from home? No.
No.
No. Did your parents lose their minds having
Yeah.
you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I can imagine having kids during that age and having to like do a job at home and then have to make sure your kids are doing school and like, blah, 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 blah.
We were also like trying to find a bigger, like another house
Right,
to move
right. Brian was
into.
looking for a house, yeah.
So that was also,
That's right. You guys were in that small house during
We
COVID,
were.
which is insane.
it was rough. It was rough. Or else now it's a lot better, but
For
that
sure,
was-
yeah.
That was a rough time.
And you guys moved right around the time I moved in here. It's like 2021, wasn't it?
Yeah, we've been in our house for probably 3 or 4 years, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Now you got all sorts of room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah. But your dad said your room is an incredible mess.
Okay, hold on. He needs to shut up because I fixed it. It's
All right,
clean
I'm
now.
just telling you.
I'll send you a picture.
You don't have to send
me.
me a picture. I had a messy bedroom when I was a kid, and I said that to him. I was like, I had a messy bedroom when I was a kid. And he's like, no, you don't understand. You don't
No,
understand. It's like
It was
a,
really
yeah.
bad.
Okay,
But I just don't. It doesn't bother me.
this is how your
like,
brain works.
I just don't care. I mean, it's better when it's clean, but like I just don't really care if it's messy. And
Right.
it's better now. I cleaned it.
He
made
said
me-
that it was even hard for there to find a place to sleep on the bed.
Okay, that's stretching it.
Okay, all right. I assumed there was a little exaggeration going on there.
He has very strong opinions
Starting a beef.
about it.
I'm sure he does. Yeah, I mean, he's your daughter. My parents had very strong opinions about my filthy bedroom when I was
Yeah.
a kid too.
But it's also just my dad. Like he's just very structured and organized, and like if I could describe him with one word, it'd be spotless.
If you could describe your dad with one word, it would be spotless.
Yes,
Interesting.
because he's not a clean freak, but like he likes structure and order.
Uh-huh. That's interesting.
So
I never thought about that with your dad. Like, I obviously see a different side of your dad than
For
you
sure.
do. Yeah. What about your mom? What's the one word? Is there a one word?
heartfelt.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, because I think that's this again. This isn't a bad thing, but she also has a lot of emotions. Like my dad, he tends to bottle things up
He
a
sure
little
does.
bit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
which I've noticed. But my mom, she's more open about her emotions. So that's nice.
Yeah. That's a thing that I'm trying to change about. I think growing up in the Midwest, it's a lot of people, we don't do well with, I mean, at least in our family too, like even the extended family, we don't do a lot of like talking about our feelings.
No.
And-
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't love that about it, but and I've tried to, change myself, and that's all you can do really, because people are either going to come to you, and that's part of the reason I'm doing this podcast is because like I feel like not even talking about feelings, just talking about I've never sat down and talked to you like this.
No.
It's,
It's
learning new things about you. You have any questions for me?
Well, what was it like starting the podcast? Like, how is this?
Oh, that's an interesting question. It's been good. It's, I started it in early June. In fact, I remember when I was about to start it. Remember we were at that baseball game
Oh, we were.
and we were talking about when the thunderstorm
Yeah,
came in and we had to
yeah.
run for you. And I told you could be on the podcast, and here we are.
Here we are.
But yeah, I started it, I think, early June. And so it's been 5 months now. And it's been good, It's been good for my brain to have a creative thing to work on because it had been a while
Yeah.
since I had a creative project. So that's been really good. And it's really like the best part is like getting to like have excuses to like get people like friends and family in
Yeah.
here to have interesting conversations and get to know them.
That's cool.
because you don't often do that, right?
Yeah,
Like how
no,
often-
it's not.
Right.
It's not often.
Right.
I mean, I'll sit down with my friends and have a good conversation, but like, I'm not gonna do that with like my brother.
Sure, but even then, it's like when the conversation ends with your friends, you're just like, okay, if the conversation starts to die out, you're like, all right, I'll see you later.
Yeah.
But with this, we got to keep it going.
Yeah, yeah. to
You
keep
know what I
talking.
mean? Yeah, we got to keep talking.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been good. I just need to keep my dabbling brain from wanting to do something else or pull whatever it is. Maybe I'll start playing music on this because who knows? I'll start doing a song and dance or whatever. The TikTok
Yeah.
videos,
Oh,
you're
TikTok,
choreographed
yeah.
by your brother. Yeah. What makes you genuinely happy? What's the thing that makes you like
Genuinely happy? I
joy,
think-
genuinely happy, whatever?
This is gonna sound odd, but when the setting is just right, like when it's like fall and it actually feels like fall. There's like maybe like jazz in the background and like all the leaves are falling and it's like evening.
Vibes, when the
Like the
vibe is right.
Yes.
Right. When's the last time you had that?
Well, we were like on the bus to one of the football games. It was an
Okay.
away football game, our last away football game, and that was like, I feel like right now we're kind of just getting over, it, but it was like peak fall, and like I could like smell a fire, and there was like a cookout or like something going on, and there's like the kids behind me like talking on the bus, and I was looking out the window, and we were like passing all these like leaves. It was like evening time, like the sun hadn't fully set. And I just like knowing where we were going, and it was just like it was very fall.
Like the perfect moment.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. It also like speaks to like being present in the moment as well,
Yeah.
which is a good thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing I like is when the food just tastes so good. Like it could be the simplest
Oh, I hate
meal.
that. I hate when food tastes good. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I was like, what? What are you saying?
I'm kidding. It just seems like that's
Yeah.
probably a thing that most people would say.
Yes,
Good
but, like,
tasting food.
That's what I'm saying. Is like it can be the simplest meal, but like when it just like hits right.
When's the last time?
I
What's the
couldn't
last
tell
thing you ate where you were like, oh my God, this is.
I had Twizzlers a few days ago. That tasted
Oh,
really
I
good.
think I had some from the same batch because I think they
Yeah.
were from Halloween. Yeah.
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 Halloween Skittles.
You're a Twizzler fan then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What's your favorite
Twizzlers.
candy? Do you have a favorite?
I do like Twizzlers. Those are one of my
Interesting.
favorites. One I get hate for a lot is Peeps. I like Peeps.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
I mean, I like a peep, maybe two peeps,
Mm-hmm.
but too many peeps.
I'm not just gonna like spam Peeps, but
Yeah.
I do enjoy them.
It's funny. The name of my last episode was Peeps.
Really.
Yeah, but it was about it was called
People.
peeping, because I was
Oh.
talking about how I hate the term leaf peeping.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't like it.
You know?
It seems leaf peeping. I don't like it.
You don't like it?
No, I mean I like looking at the leaves.
Yeah.
And I'll go out and take a walk and look at the leaves, but I'm not going to call it leaf peeping.
That is odd.
It is, and it wasn't a thing when I was a kid. It's a newer thing.
I've never heard of this until right now.
You've never heard leaf peeping?
No,
Oh, that's great. Actually, maybe it's going away.
it must be.
What does your generation have a term? Of course, your generation doesn't have a term for leaf looking at.
No.
Leaf checking out leaves, brah, bro.
No.
no, it's pretty
No,
bad.
that's-
bad.
no one-
Fire, no cap. Yeah. Is there any like specific thing that you really dislike? I'll give you an example from my life that I was thinking
Okay.
about. I don't like sticky. I don't like when my hands are
Yeah.
sticky. I don't like if there's a sticky spot on the floor and I walk over it all the time, like all day.
Yeah.
It drives me nuts, and it's always been like that. Like eating syrupy things and I get the sticky stuff.
Okay.
I don't like it. What do you got?
I get that. Oh, I hate loud chewing, and it's like really bad. And
That's like a condition, though. There's a term for that. Even I have a friend
Yeah.
who hates. Yeah, I can't even eat
It's-
in front of him because he drives him crazy.
it's not good. And like I've gotten better at like not saying anything because like
Yeah.
I know it bothers people like
Yeah.
when I'm like commenting on their chewing.
Yeah.
But no, it's bad, and it's like I genuinely feel bad like for the people when I'm like, hey, like can you chew quieter? But because I'm like, I'm sorry, like I know that's
a condition. I can't chew any quieter. My jaw's broken.
no. If someone said that, I'd be like,
Yeah.
oh
yeah.
shoot, like
Some people do chew really loudly, though.
yeah, and like sometimes it is like okay, you actually need to shut your mouth.
Right.
But
Yeah, chewing with your mouth open at this time period. Like, were we still doing that? No,
Yeah.
we could have stopped with that.
no, I feel bad because my mom and my brother are like the biggest victims to my stop
Oh,
chewing
they're
so loud.
They're loud chewers in your life.
Well, okay, that's how I hear them, but they probably aren't to other people.
Right.
Like it's probably just me, and I'm like,
Yeah, I've never noticed them chewing loudly, but
see, so
yeah, there's a word for that. There's definitely a word for people who can't deal with the sound of mouth sounds.
oh, yeah, all mouth sounds. Like that's probably what I should add.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
just like lip smacking.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't. Nobody wants to hear that. But your dad's not a loud chewer.
He also doesn't like loud chewing, so his is better.
Oh, so he's cognizant of it. Yeah.
I've noticed like people who don't like loud chewing,
Well, of course, not chew
you know,
loudly. Right.
tend to be really quiet.
It'd be
Like,
weird if they chewed loudly themselves.
yeah, and
Right.
Aunt Sarah, she doesn't like it either, but she's quiet.
Right. Right. Right.
So
Interesting. It's like a thing that runs through your family.
it really does.
Yeah.
Something with the Bifus bloodline.
Yeah. I never ever thought that. I don't think I have an issue with that. I've never really. I mean, certainly some people when it's really loud, that's a lot. But what about like if you're eating pretzels? Is that
That-
also problematic?
It just depends on like, because like if someone's just eating chips really loudly, it's gonna bother me, but it's not gonna like trigger.
I mean,
that.
it's hard to eat chips quietly, to be clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like that won't bother me too much. It's really just like the mouth sounds that like I think go with it. You know, like I hate when people like are sucking on a lollipop loudly. That's
Oh, right. Or a
That bothers me.
popsicle. Yeah.
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 yeah. But like if someone's just like crunching, it's gonna annoy me, but not like
Right.
it's not gonna bother me that
Right.
much.
Right.
They're
Like
just
if
like
you're
loud.
eating a steak and slapping your lips, that's
yeah,
the
that's
problem.
gross.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah, that's a good one. What are you worried about?
What am I worried about?
Like on a small level, or like really on a big level, like about your future or whatever it is.
Well, there's something I've noticed, and it's like something that bothers me, or not bothers, but worries me. And it's like it's kind of just like a subconscious thing, but I worry about like saying the right thing, you know, because I feel like sometimes I am not the best picking up social cues or like understanding what is the right thing to say and what's not the right thing to say. And it's sometimes it's interesting because like it all is the same in my head, but sometimes I'll say one thing and people will be like kind of quiet after I say it. Then I'll say another thing, and then they think it's funny and they'll laugh and stuff.
Right.
But it's like it's the same in my head. So
Yeah.
what I'm kind of trying to learn right now is like how to pick up on that and like what is good to say and what's bad to say. You know?
Yeah, I would say don't. I mean, certainly there's definitely a very strong line in some way, but also in a smaller way, I wouldn't overthink it because.
But I also tend to overthink things. That's
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
you got to control
it's
that
hard
ruminating
to-
mind. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, your dad has that ruminating mind as well,
Yeah.
but he doesn't talk about it. But he just
No,
thinks.
he doesn't.
But his brain's always going.
He's like Batman.
He's like Batman. How is
Yes.
your dad like Batman?
Well, have you not seen Lego Batman?
I have not.
Oh, never mind. Then.
But I mean, explain still. I'm dying to know what. I mean, so he's not like Batman. He's like Lego Batman.
yes,
Oh wow.
yes.
I wonder- do you think
don't
he'll be
care
surprised to
about
hear
other-
that?
I don't care about other Batman.
Oh,
but Lego
okay.
Batman is just very like monotone. It's not share his feelings. Not monotone, but like, because my dad, he'll have a good laugh, but like if something's bothering him on like a very deep level, he's not gonna tell anybody. You know,
Right.
but like he'll tell you if my room's messy, he'll tell me if he doesn't like that. But like he's not gonna tell me if something else is wrong,
Right.
like
right.
on an emotional level.
Yeah. I mean, that's a Midwestern thing. You
It
know,
is.
my dad didn't really talk about his emotions. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, interesting. Lego Batman.
Lego Batman.
Lego
that was
Batman.
just my first thought.
No, it's a good one. So what other there's no other like giant fears or anxieties about you know, the
Just
future
like
or whatever.
school. And just like doing well.
Yeah.
And I like band, but like it's kind of a love-hate thing there because I hate playing my saxophone alone. Like in front of people. It's my worst. It's genuinely my worst fear.
Interesting.
But like you know, taking a test in math, I don't care.
why
I'll
do you
wing it.
why do you think the saxophone thing is such a big fear?
I don't know cuz like
Are you good at it?
I'm fine. It's
Okay.
like moderate,
Yeah.
you know? But like it's kind of public speaking as well. Like I've had a fear of public speaking, but it's definitely gotten better.
Yeah.
Like it used to be a lot worse. But like that's kind of okay
Well, that's the
now.
biggest fear for everybody. I think is public speaking. That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like it depends on what I'm doing. Like if I'm talking about something that I know well,
Right.
it's fine. But if it's like have to make something up on the spot,
Sure.
you know. But that fluctuates. But playing my saxophone, it's like I can have the piece of music right in front of me, but it's just like I'm scared of like criticism for it, and just like I don't know. It is just my worst fear. And I remember my middle school band director. I was sitting down. I was doing this test, and I was like, but he would make us play in front of the whole class,
Wow.
like the whole class.
That's
It was
a
like
lot.
50 kids.
Yeah.
And I broke down in tears playing. Like I was sobbing. I was crying. It was not good.
Yeah.
I somehow finished the test. I'm not really sure how. My friends were like comforting me, but like the whole class was comforting me, which was
Sure.
nice,
That's
but
not-
also
yeah,
bad.
also much. Yeah.
Anyways, then he's like, Mia, stay after class. I need to talk to you. So I'm like, okay, this is just getting worse.
Yeah.
And he comes up to me. He's like, hey, you know, I got nervous when I was a kid, you know, playing too. So like, don't worry, but I wouldn't get as worried as you. And then he kind of just sent me off to class. I was like,
Great speech.
what'd you say?
Thanks for the pep talk.
Huh.
Yes.
Oh, okay. That's nice to know.
So I have a story about that. I took piano lessons when I was a kid, and then we had to have a recital. And the recital was like, you know, in front of
Yeah.
about, you know, I don't know, 25, 30, 40 people, whatever it was. And at this point, I'd been doing theater and stuff. So it wasn't like I wasn't comfortable on stage or whatever.
Yeah.
But like I got up there and I was so nervous, and I like completely had practiced so many, it was for Elise, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
and I had practiced it so many times. And I just completely, once it got off the rails, it just went way off the rails. And like, I had a meltdown. Like I was like crying like I was crying, and I was like, so yeah, I can relate to that.
yeah.
I will never forget that. And then my parents pulled me out of the piano lessons. Did you think of your favorite song?
Oh, well, I was kind of still thinking of the Phantom of the Opera thing.
Oh, the Phantom of the Opera. That was it. All right.
Yeah.
Phantom of the Opera. Yeah.
Like, that's the one I've been listening to.
No, that's a good one.
the
That's a good
most.
one. I forgot about that. Yeah.
But it's not my favorite song. I mean, I don't think I have a favorite song of all time.
Give me
but, like,
one of these songs that's like a favorite
good
that I
song.
would not probably know about.
that you wouldn't know about.
Or maybe I would. I don't know. I'm trying to stay hip. And
Another
relevant.
one, it's not my favorite song.
Yeah.
Because, like, Taylor Swift's new album, I don't think it's her best one. I don't think it's her
not at
worst
all.
one.
She's kind of just kind of drifting along, doing the same
She
kind
is
of thing
drifting.
over and over and
And
over.
I
Yeah.
think, okay, this could be a hot take, but I think what she needs to do is she needs to act her age. And that sounds odd, but like I feel like she's trying to act younger, like stay hip or whatever. But I feel like she would be more popular if she played music that was her age, like that was like fit her.
And what kind
generation.
of music do you think fits her? Like she's what, 30,
Well,
35 or something
Yeah,
now? Yeah.
and like because she's like still in the pop genre, which I think is good. But she also dabbled in country, you know, at the
I mean,
beginning.
she
of her
started in
career,
country, yeah.
which I think was good. But like you know, Adele.
Yeah.
I feel like Adele is a perfect example of people playing music that's their age. Does that make
Interesting.
sense?
It does. Yeah. Yeah. It's the topics, I think, more than anything that she's singing about.
Yeah,
It's kind
and
of
just like
this
the way
yeah,
the way
yeah,
the music is written, and like
Yeah. I mean, she's trying to have a wide appeal and all these
Yeah.
kind of things.
but like, I think it would be better if she played.
What's your favorite album of Taylor Swift's?
Ooh, that is a good question.
Yeah.
It changes. I think I just like specific songs of hers rather than like the entire album.
I agree. I'm a song person and not an album person. I think there's two kinds of people in this world, which
Yeah.
maybe your generation isn't so much. I think your generation is probably much more song related because of
Yeah.
the way music is distributed. But like, yeah, I've always been more of like a highlight. You know, I'll watch baseball highlights, but I won't watch the whole game. I'll
Well,
listen to one song. You know,
I'm a big baseball fan, so I'll watch.
right? I know you will.
watch a lot,
Yeah. But I would go with 1989.
That's a good album.
That was my entry point to her. That was when I was like, oh, this is good stuff.
Yeah. I think her newer stuff has drifted a little bit.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's her
getting
best.
Quite boring.
But I do like Folklore and Evermore. They're like twin albums essentially. Those two albums. I think those two are probably my favorite.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah, I think I like Folklore. I think if that's the one with the song The One on it, which
Yeah.
I think it is,
I think so.
there's another version of that whole album that she recorded during COVID in like a cabin
Oh,
with just like three
the
people.
long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really good. That I really like. That's like maybe my favorite thing because I think her music's a little overproduced sometimes, and I
Yeah.
feel like paring the songs down because some of the songs are well written. It's just like they're overproduced, and anyway,
Yeah.
we don't need to go down that. I don't think Taylor
That's-
Swift's been talked about in podcasts enough, so I think
Yeah.
we're good that we hit
I
that.
think-
yeah,
I
I'm
think-
glad we got it.
They just don't hit it enough.
No, nobody talks about Taylor Swift nearly enough. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what she's doing when she's like 80 or something,
Yeah.
you know, still singing Shake It Off or something at
Yeah.
that point on the stage, barely able to walk. And
Yeah. No, because like I'm gonna add on to what I said earlier, but
All
like
right.
with music that's more her age, I think she was doing really well with like Evermore and Folklore, like that slower, more like piano
Yeah.
centered music. I think that would be really good now, and
Yeah.
especially since like I don't think we're gonna hear another breakup album soon. Like,
Well, who knows? I don't know. It's
Yeah.
going to be hard to be dating a football player.
well, they're engaged now.
We're right, but I mean, who knows how long? Well,
Yeah.
we'll see. I hope for them the best.
Yeah,
I don't know much about Travis Kelce.
I just know he plays football.
That's pretty much where I'm at. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's from Ohio, like Cleveland.
Oh,
area.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's a fan of the Guardians. I'm pretty sure
Sure. And he has a brother.
he does have a brother.
Yeah. And they have a podcast.
They do.
Yeah. Who doesn't? Everybody's got a podcast now. We're coming for you though. One of
We
Jeff's
are
coming
coming.
for you. Yeah. This is gonna. Yeah. We'll get Taylor Swift on here, and that will make them
Yeah.
get divorced.
I think that's
Yeah. And then maybe
Whoa.
maybe I marry Taylor Swift. Wouldn't that be a
Whoa.
weird twist? Yeah.
that's.
And then
we're
I
really,
bring Taylor Swift home for Christmas or something.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's
Then-
tall too. She's
Can
like
she,
my height.
Serenade us.
Sure. I mean, I would hope so. She's probably like mean about it. She's probably like, I don't sing when I'm not getting paid.
I don't know. That's the thing.
Right. It's Christmas. Can't you just sing a few Christmas songs, Taylor? No. No, I will not.
Who
No.
knows?
Yeah. Hopefully she would.
Yeah. I never know what to think about celebrities because I never know which ones are like genuine.
I
never
think
really
most of
know.
it is kind of,
Yeah.
like you can kind of guess, but I feel like, yeah, it's, yeah,
You know, I'd hate to be a celebrity
you would.
because like there's a lot of attention, but like I don't want people making false
Right.
like assumptions about me.
Right. And that's going to happen. I mean, there's some celebrities out there who just don't really talk to the press or anything and just
Yeah.
avoid it
Which
entirely.
I understand.
Which that's probably what I would do, frankly, because
That's really fair.
but
It's
some
really
people
valid.
some people like, you know, I think everybody's got like something that they're trying to fill in
Yeah.
their soul, you know. Some people are trying to fill it with money. Some people think if they get famous they'll be happy. Some people blah 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 blah. But ultimately I don't think that any of these things will make you happy. You got to work on yourself.
Yeah.
But that's my little, you know, mindfulness lesson for today.
Okay.
for everybody.
You should make this podcast about mindfulness.
It is quite a bit actually. If you've listened, there's a lot of I kind of intersperse, and I've interviewed like yoga teachers and stuff,
That's
so forth
cool.
and so on. Yeah. Do you ever meditate?
I've meditated probably once in my life.
That's more than I had done it by your age. So
You know,
you got that?
I'm onto something.
yeah, but the overthinking brain, Mia, I recommend
Yeah.
it. You know,
It is a lot.
just saying. Or yoga, you can do yoga too. Stuff's
I've
been
done
good for
yoga
me.
before.
Have you?
Yeah,
Good for you.
but it's not my favorite.
Well, I mean, if you've done it, then you know what it is, and you can go back to it when you get older. Because I
Yeah.
feel like maybe it's a thing that older people.
I think that'll be more like early 20s thing for me.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, well, it's more yoga than I had done at your age. We didn't even really have. I mean, there were people
Yeah,
who
what was
did
it
yoga
like growing up for you?
in general.
Yeah, just like what? I don't know.
Oh, sure. Well, in school, I was very much an outcast. Like middle school was terrible for me. because I was very much like the nerd of the nerds. Yeah, because I was in theater, and there'd be pictures of me in the paper as dressed as like Pinocchio, which was just not good for a social
No,
life.
no.
But I had great friends at the theater. You know,
Yeah.
those were my friends.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was doing theater stuff, and then high school started off bad. But then as I started to find my people, and like mostly the theater crowd and the social and the show choir crowd, I really started to kind of fall into myself. And by the end of
Yeah.
high school, I was like I was the person that kind of everybody knew who I was because I'd been in all the plays and blah 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 blah. So everybody was kind of nice to me and liked me. I was voted most likely to be, what was it? I don't know if it was Rich and Famous or if it
Oh.
was something else, but I was one of those, and I was voted wittiest,
Wittiest.
like funniest, because
Yeah,
I was a
yeah.
And beyond that, like I played some sports, but I never was very
Wait,
good
what
at them.
sports?
I played soccer,
Oh.
and mostly because I did enjoy it, I think, but mostly it was my father's encouragement.
If you were a sport, you'd be rock climbing.
If I was a sport, I'd be rock climbing.
Yep. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
I just know.
Interesting. What would you be?
I don't know. You tell me.
I don't know what that even means. Because
Me neither.
I
I just
have
know
rock
it.
climbed. Yeah. Yeah.
So have I. That was an experience.
Like bouldering.
No, do you know that one thing in the Olympics last year where they just like try to go up the wall as fast as
Oh,
they can?
right. Yeah, wall climbing.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the harness and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've tried that. Yeah. It's kind of fun, but it's kind of scary too.
I did that, but then I got to the top and I looked down, and
Yeah.
that wasn't a good idea.
It's crazy. Yeah.
It's so high.
Yeah, it is. If I was a sport, I'd be rock climbing. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I bike more. I'm a big biker, so that's kind of a sport.
Yeah.
Or is that like a leisure activity in your mind?
Biking?
Yeah.
Well, I think it depends on like what level you're doing it at.
Hmm.
You know? Because like if you're just going for a stroll through the neighborhood, I don't know. That's just like a hobby. But like if you're actually biking multiple miles and like
Yeah.
pushing yourself,
Yeah.
that's a sport.
Yeah, so I'm sporting. I did 1,500 miles last year.
Yeah.
This year, not
that's
so many,
nice.
but last year, yeah, I've been falling off the rocker. Off the rocker? What does that
The
mean?
rocker?
I don't know what that means. We're just going to disregard that.
Okay.
I can edit that out. Is there anything you wish people would ask you about that nobody ever asks you about?
I don't know, but I feel like I know a lot of people, but like there are certain things that like people just don't know about me. That it's like it's not something you're like, hey, do you do this? Like that's not a question that like you'd ask normal people. But like a lot of people don't know I'm a figure skater, or a lot
I didn't
of
know
people,
that.
Yeah, or like a lot of people don't know that I am a huge baseball fan. But it's not like a question you'd ask.
How often do you figure skate?
I've kind of lost it recently.
Right, school and all that.
But
yeah.
like, yeah, I mean, it would be like once or twice a week.
Oh,
when I
wow.
do it.
Yeah. You know, my sister did that. Was a big figure skater. You should
She
tell her
was?
that next time. Talk
See,
to her. Mention it to
that's-
Clambake because she'll be interested in that.
That's
yeah.
another thing. I did not know that about her. Like, you just
Yeah.
don't know if someone's a figure
Yeah.
skater unless it's their. Because, like, that's the thing. Figure skating is hard for me because you have to devote yourself to it. Generally, like,
get
you
good,
have
yeah,
to.
yeah.
You have to put in the work and do it, or else you just kind of stall. You're just at this.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
where I was for a while, and now I'm taking a break from it. I hope to go back to it soon, but
Huh. I feel like it's the kind of thing you can go back to whenever you want, in a way.
because if you're not doing it constantly, you lose progress.
Right. And there's no figure skating team at your school now.
No, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And what about the baseball? How did that happen?
I mean, just like growing up, you know, my dad always having it on. I just
When
No.
did you first start to really get into it? When do you remember? Like a year or two ago, 3 years ago?
probably 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It's like I don't really enjoy watching any other sports unless like the Olympics. I love the Olympics,
Sure.
but like I don't really watch any other sports. Just baseball.
Yeah, baseball. I don't really watch much of it unless it's like an important game because it kind of is it's a very long, boring game in my mind.
Yeah.
But your dad, of course, is the biggest baseball fan of anybody I think I ever know or will know.
Yeah.
He really likes the baseball.
I
Yeah.
definitely get that from him, and we both enjoy it.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, he probably helps you understand it better so you can appreciate
for
it
sure.
more. And
But it's like I'm trying to get my friends into it. Like
it's a
secretly,
tough
I'm
one.
like,
That's a tough one.
come on. But they definitely have latched on a little bit. Like
Right.
my one friend, I got her to watch the World Series.
Oh,
so
there you go. There you go.
She did it all on her own.
oh,
I was
all
like,
on
oh.
her own.
I mean, her dad is also a baseball fan. So
Right. And Guardians of your team, I would imagine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Not the Reds. Sorry, Reds, but
Yeah, I've never been a fan. Never been
Yeah.
a fan of the Reds.
I feel like a lot of people from Columbus are Reds fans. But
Yeah,
it's
'cause
a mixed
closer.
crowd.
Yeah. I think mostly it's an Ohio State University thing.
Yeah, really, it is really just Ohio State.
They really just love. And I don't, I root for the team,
Yeah.
but it's not exciting because they win every game. So
Yeah.
where's the excitement in that
I
to
don't know.
me?
I root for them just because like my mom's deep family history with
sure.
Ohio State.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. And my dad went there, and my sister went there.
yeah.
So,
I mean,
yeah.
my uncle has a national championship ring.
Right.
That's cool.
Right. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And your grandfather, I think, was the marching band guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot, like my whole family.
There's a lot of
My whole
connections
mom's
to
side
it.
of
Yeah.
the
Your mom's side of the family is real connected to that school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like my grandpa, he was on one of the teams that won the national championship.
Oh, wow.
For baseball. So
Wow. I didn't know that.
that's how he has the ring.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
I wonder, are they playing? I think they're playing right now, aren't they?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
The football team.
I'm sure they're winning. I mean, they just
There was a 97% chance they won.
right.
So
right. Yeah, they win every game until towards the end. Then they start to lose a game or two.
yeah, Michigan
Yeah, yeah,
can't win.
yeah.
Unfortunately.
yeah. And people really like. I remember if they lose a big game, the entire town feels like it's
Yeah.
deflated. It's
It
really
is-
strange.
Especially living near Ohio State.
Yeah.
It's like you see it a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, I
And,
mean,
like,
people
all the
park
X's
here.
over the M's.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's very. I didn't even know what that X over the M thing was for my
Really?
first 2 years here, and I would see it
Didn't?
everywhere, and I'd be like, "What's going on here?" And then I'd be like, "Oh." Then I saw it in the news, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, people are really putting effort into this. Got to
Yeah,
cross off all
it's
the
like-
M's."
It's like ingrained into us. Like if you're born here or just like, go to Ohio State.
Right.
It's a big thing.
Yeah, it's unusual. Yeah, yeah. I like the band. I keep wanting to
Yeah.
go see one of those Skull sessions just because I love the
Yeah.
loud, but I haven't done it. But I do enjoy the band. One of the best marching bands
It is.
in the entire world.
They're very good.
They're really
I know
good.
a bunch of people who've been in the band. I
Oh,
think
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very hard to get into that band. There's a documentary on YouTube about like how they get like about getting into the band. It was really
That's
interesting.
crazy. I know like 4 people who've been in the band.
Right. It was also like rehearsals for the guy who like has to do the baton thing.
Oh, the drum major?
Yeah, and which was a big one because they have to do all sorts of crazy stuff with that baton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a good drum major for our high school. I mean, he would use like fire.
Oh
the
wow.
baton.
Wow, they would let them do that at the high
Yeah.
school? That's crazy.
He did it a few times.
Wow, that's pretty cool. They should do that all the time. I mean, that's exciting.
I know, it is cool.
I would go see more sports if they had fire,
That's what I'm
Right.
saying.
Flaming baseballs. I see all sorts of great ideas here.
Oh. Yeah. I guess I never really thought about that.
Yeah, you could do all sorts of things. Yeah. All right, Mia. Well, do you have anything else to say to my audience here?
I don't think so.
Before we wrap it up, no.
I think I'm good. I just think I should say that I should come back again.
Okay. Yes, you can come
Yes.
back again for sure.
Your face was
I might try to get your brother on too. I think that would be interesting.
That would be interesting.
I think it'd be interesting.
That would
yeah.
be very
He'd be asking all the questions.
He would.
I know.
I would be very interested too.
Yeah,
Can I
no.
like come? Can I just like sit in the corner and watch
no,
that?
that's why I want to do it because I can't. No, you can't. You can
I
hear it
can't.
afterwards,
I
but
can
you
hear
can't
it.
sit in the room. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you understand though.
Can you like live stream it?
No, it'll come out though. I don't live stream yet. I don't live stream.
You don't live stream.
Mia, thank you for coming on my podcast. I really appreciate it. I'm so
welcome.
happy that you did this. So
You're welcome.
And look at this. I remember talking to you about it at the baseball game, and
Yeah,
then
and
5
now we're
months go
here.
by, and here we are.
Yeah.
So, Mia, I love you. Thank you for coming to the podcast.
Yes. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Aaron, for having me.
You got it. You
I
got
got
it.
it.
You
I
got
got
it out. And that was Mia. Thank you again for coming on, Mia. It was a real joy for me, and hopefully for you as well. And if it was a joy for you, the listener, I'm pointing to you, but you can't see me, please share this episode with somebody else who might enjoy it. Maybe your cousin. Maybe your first cousin once removed. Maybe your first cousin twice removed. Is that a thing? I don't know. Anyway, share it with somebody you know. Share it with somebody you love. Because sharing is caring, and sharing also helps podcasts like this grow. If you have any feedback on this or any other episode, or you just want to say hello, you can email the podcast at onefjeffpod@gmail.com. I'll write back. And last, but definitely not least, please consider supporting the podcast by subscribing to the Patreon page at patreon.com/onefjeff. You'll get access to some amazing extra bonus episodes and some photos, and who knows what else. And you'll also make me very happy. Patreon.com/onefjeff. And I'll leave you today with a short poem by Rumi, which he wrote in his parents' basement instead of taking out the garbage. I said, "What about my eyes?" He said, "Keep them on the road." I said, "What about my passion?" He said, "Keep it burning." I said, "What about my heart?" He said, "Tell me what you hold inside it." I said, "Pain and sorrow." He said, "Stay with it. The wound is the place where the light enters you." I'll see you soon.
Very good, Jeffrey.